It is my pleasure to be in your midst today in the land of the rising sun. Particularly in Owerri, where we need to send a strong message to Aso Rock. I have been reliably informed that the man in Abuja is promising the man in Owerri that they will hand over to themselves in 2023. But the question I asked them is that if they love the Southeast so much, why not hand over to the Southeast now? If you love the Southeast so much, why not appoint a Southeasterner to be in the security services? If you love the Southeast so much, why don't you give them positions that are commensurate with their strength and intellect and ability? They have been using this to divide us for a long time. But we are telling the man in Abuja, who is now in London, that there is vacancy in Aso Rock now. He has left power. And we are taking it back. And we are reminding the man in Owerri that there is no vacancy in Aso Rock in 2023 for the people like him. It will be for another Nigerian, whether they come from the Southeast, Southwest, Northwest, Northeast, North Central, South, who is capable of running this country. We are tired of turn-by-turn politics. Enough is enough. We are tired of the divisive politics of ethnicity and religion. They haven't done anything for us. Look, part of the reason I'm happy, and please let me freely move in your midst, because you are my brothers and sisters. And as you can see, we don't have police here today. We don't have army. We only have our conscience. And we must rub our minds and our conscience. Let me tell you, I have been around for 47 years. And each time there's an opportunity to give or vote for the right person, we are always giving the wrong person. And that is why when I came out, they are asking about the experience. And I asked them, what is the experience of the people in power today, apart from stealing, apart from corruption, assassination, and all the nepotism and tribalism they use to deceive us? Nothing else. They don't have any experience. Somebody who has been president before in 1984, you think that if he's given an opportunity in 2015, he will know what he's doing. He doesn't. They don't know anything. But let me tell you, and this is very important for every one of you, we have to sympathize with them. This is the best they can give us. They don't have the capacity to do better than they are doing. To describe it in the nature of computer or age, when you have a device that's run out of memory space, that's the way these guys are. They have nothing else to offer you. But as young people, and not necessarily because we are young, because you know there's a lot of you stupid young people also that are involved in power in this country. We have them in the Senate, we have them as governors. They are young, but they are useless. So I don't want us to use the young word also carelessly. But here is it. We have a duty to form our own zone, which I call Zone 7. They said there are 6 geopolitical zones in this country, and they are rotating power in all those zones. But we are creating our own Zone 7. And power is not going to be rotated to us. We are going to fight for and take power for us. And who are the people in this Zone 7? They are young people. About 70% of this country has people who are less than the age of 30. 70% of them. Most of them have never had a job before in their lives. It is not because they cannot have a job, but because there's no enabling environment for them to even produce what they want to produce. Let me give you an example of myself to defend how hardworking we can be. 12 years ago, I started a website known as Sahara Reporters in New York. And it became internationally acclaimed. In fact, it was competing with CNN and others. When I decided to come and set up Sahara Reporters office in Lagos, in less than 1 year, they had seized all my money. They got a court order to freeze my account. When you have people like that running the country, and they turn around and call you lazy. I formed the company. I'm employing Nigerians. I didn't go to government. I don't even take government adverts so that it doesn't pollute and dilute my content. They can't even tolerate me with my so-called ingenuity that has created a company that is competing internationally to succeed in Lagos. Senate President Saraki went to a court in Ilorin, obtained the judgment, and seized all my assets. About $240-something thousand was seized by them. Am I lazy? No. So, but you look at these lazy people in government, they have never worked their entire life. They have only lived off of you and me as leeches. They steal, they decimate, they destroy. Look at Imo State. The man known as Samu Mbakwe built this state. But since he died or he left as governor, they can't even maintain the roads that he built. These are really people that are lazy. People who cannot make new things and cannot maintain what is old. They are lazy people. But let's even take it further amongst the young people amongst us. Let me walk a little bit towards them. What about what happened with our president and his son? The son of the president has never walked before. So where did he get the bike that he was riding in Abuja? And when he now got into an accident, somebody who has never walked before, they used our money, $250,000 to ferry him from Abuja to Germany for treatment. And he came back again. And his father has the effrontery to be calling us lazy. Can you imagine that? And like our colleague said, you know, we are nice people. Because in other countries, if you do this to young people, they will shut down the country. That statement alone is enough to incite a revolution. But here is what I want to ask you. How many of you have the permanent voter's card? Raise up your hand. You can see now that the game is over for them. It is over. There is a musician in Lagos they call Small Doctor. Do you know him? One of the songs that I love most is the one where he said that they played penalty into throwing. They have played themselves out of existence and out of the game. I'm glad that you have obtained your cards, permanent voters cards, because come 2019, we are not looking back. If you want to use it in the biblical way, and I'm not using religion here, but I like the idea of leaving Egypt. We are no longer going back to Egypt. We have left them, and power has also left them. We are going to take our country back from them. You see, some of our young people across the world, they ask us this question, why don't you go and start as counselor? And you don't have to be angry with them. You see, our self-esteem has been battered so bad. A lot of people have started to internalize inferiority complex. So they tell you that you can't be counselor. One of them even had a effrontery, a minister, on a radio show. He told me that I'm inconsequential. And I asked him, what was it that you have done in life that I have not done? He didn't even know my age. And he was communication minister. I said, sir, analog mentality cannot rule a digital generation. And you know, part of the reason why I'm comfortable amongst you, young people, I was a student union leader at the University of Lagos. And we were the ones who mobilized and drove the military out of power in 1999. Guess what? In 2019, it would have been 20 years after which we drove the military out of power. And we had a consolidation of democracy. So our democracy must hit a landmark next year. It's 20 years when the young people who have been fighting and working and suffering for this country will taste power for the good of young people and for the good of Nigeria. Sometimes people tell me about the Southeast, that people of Southeast want to leave this country. They want restructuring, they want Biafra. We must address it. You are not the only people who have left this country. A lot of Nigerians have mentally seceded from Nigeria because of injustice. And the injustice is huge. You know, this is a truth we must tell ourselves in the Southeast. You cannot continue to have people who have the war mentality. They have not finished the war they started in the 60s. That's the result that you are seeing. That is why the Southeast is broke and broken, and they want it to remain so. They are still fighting the war in their head. And I was 1 year old when the war ended. I didn't cause the war, but I understand what it did in the South. I've read history. In the US, I teach post-colonial Africa history, and I teach it to other people what they did here. And I must address it today that one of the things that we do first as President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria next year is to apologize to the people of the southeastern part of Nigeria. Nigeria must apologize to you for the injustices done to you, and we must accelerate the development of the Southeast. I am not trying to massage your ego. The southeastern person, the average Igbo man has conquered the world. But you love your villages. No matter where you go, you want to be able to come back home. And you want to be able to do business anywhere you want, not even in Nigeria, but anywhere in the world. I have seen some of the best doctors to be Igbo people. Some of the best athletes to be Igbo people. Actors and actresses as Igbo people. But this is their homeland. It's broken. And we have to fix it. Why don't we all join hands together and do what is right, which is to govern this country and even forget where we come from. But I don't want to preach any kind of familiarity that is done the old way. I want us to be speaking as young people who are progressive, who want to move this country through progress and prosperity. And how are we going to do it? I have been making a lot of promises that I want to spend money inside Nigeria. I want to invest in Nigeria. And some of our brothers and sisters who like to argue on Facebook say, where are you going to get the money from to build roads? I said there's money everywhere. Under the last regime, they found some in sewage, some of them in under the bedroom, some under cooking pots. There was money everywhere. The problem was that Nigeria has been tendering to the greedy for the longest time. Now is the time to assist the needy. And you know, no matter how much you have, you can never satisfy a greedy man. But if you have little, you can satisfy someone who is in need of something, and they will appreciate it. And that's what we want to turn around. Within 4 years of coming to power, I guarantee you, not only would we start and complete the second Niger Bridge, we will do a third Niger Bridge that has a fast train. There is no reason why you cannot move goods and services from Port Harcourt, to Lagos within 3 hours on a train. I have seen it happen before. I have been in places where they are happening. And if you are in doubt, you can do Google search even while I'm here. They just had the fastest trains moving in Morocco. The economy of Morocco is not as big as that of Nigeria. So why can't we have it? Why can't we have youth corpers receiving just 50,000 naira as allowances instead of giving it to senators, 13 million naira per senator? And the senators are the laziest bunch of people you can find in the world. You saw what they did the other day, stealing maize and walking around. And I've been saying it, and I'll say it again. If I have my way, I will abolish the Nigerian Senate. It's a waste of time, waste of space, and waste of money. And then we can have just one House of Representatives from every local government, and we make it part-time. If you don't come to work, you don't get paid. And we abolish all the stupid allowances and give it to our people. We use it to build hospitals, and we use it to develop our people. Our biggest resource is not oil. Oil is lazy economy. The biggest resource Nigeria has are Nigerian people. Some of the most innovative, creative people are Nigerians in the world. In fact, right now, most of you are running your government in your houses. You provide your boreholes, you provide security, you provide generator. Every house is a local government. So you don't really need too much government. You just need a government that can create integration between you and the next place and facilitate your ability to do business. And I want to make a pronouncement here today that one of the things that can accelerate development in the Southeast is provision of business loans that are not cutthroat interest rates. Every developed country would have interest rates that are between 5 to 7% maximum. Nigeria has 27% interest rate. There is no way you can borrow money and do business and make profit at 29% interest rate. The government that we are going to lead will peg interest rates at 7% maximum so that you can borrow money, do your small businesses, make profit, and pay the banks back. They tell us that we don't know economics. And I tell them, those of you that know economics, what is your economic blueprint? It's always that IMF said this, World Bank said that, this one, and things like that. But look at it. We have, this year alone, the federal government came out and said, Federal Inland Revenue Service made 3 trillion naira, right? As revenue. Customs made almost about 2 trillion. JAMB. That's the one that's Federal Inland Revenue Service. And also, even EFCC said they recovered 800 billion. When you add all of the revenues made without the NNPC, we have already paid for our budget. So how is it that this government has been the government that borrowed the most money? It shows to you that these guys are just scammers. And we are tired of the scams.
My name is Amalobo Tobishu. And my present to me, please, I want to ask you a question. And the question is this. About 14 years ago, a brother from the same tribe, Olusegun Obasanjo, came to that Nigerian state of Owerri during his electionary campaign. He told us that if we vote him or if we voted him and supported his ambition, and once the INEC declared him as the president of this great nation, that he is going to work on the second Niger Bridge and also third Niger Bridge, and reach all the South-East people, because it is our target, and we did, as we promised him. But on getting to the power, he abandoned it. Again today, you, as a man from the same tribe with Olusegun Obasanjo, has also come here today and promised us that you are going to work on that second Niger Bridge and also the third. So my brother, how far and how many resources will you achieve that? Hoping that your brother Obasanjo came here and supported us, I believe that the same story will not be repeated if you are voted in power. Thank you.
He's Obasanjo, and my name is Omoyele Sowore. And I guarantee you, it is not only Obasanjo that has promised the second Niger Bridge. Even Jonathan did. What is lacking is sincerity of purpose. These people you have mentioned are dishonest people. Obasanjo only did not promise the second Niger Bridge. He also promised to construct the road from Lagos to his village, Ota. He never did it. The Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, they have been constructing it for 20 years. They can't do it. The reason is that these guys are not fighting for your interests. As I said before, Obasanjo was a soldier who fought and killed Igbos during the Biafran War. They have that mentality in their head that the war is still continuing. Forget about the promises they are making to you. They want to continue to dominate this place because the war has not ended in their brains. That's why you must vote them out. Anybody that has the blood of your brothers and sisters, or our brothers and sisters, let's vote them out. It's the only way you can have a second Niger bridge, a third Niger bridge, and even fourth Niger train line that is running, crisscrossing back and forth every night. It is the truth that I can deliver it. I know where to find the money to do it, but most importantly, I have the honesty and the will to do it.
My dear brother, you are talking about what they're going to do to Nigeria, what they're going to do for us.
Yes.
You have not told us the political platform. In Nigerian politics, you know very well that before you get the flag, before you pick the ticket, you must belong to a political party. And if you are going to contest in any of the political platforms, what are you going to do to make sure you secure this flag? They will not allow you.
I appreciate your question, and I'm going to answer it directly. It will be heartwarming to you that we are building a coalition of political parties. As of the last time, we have reached at least 6 political parties already, but we don't want to mention their names. But if you followed me, when I went to Kaduna, I met with Balarabe Musa. He actually offered me to join the People Redemption Party, which is the oldest political party in the country. I'm just telling you that I cannot be a partyless politician. And don't be afraid about stopping us. Let me tell you, this is a hurricane that is moving. Anything on its path, I'm too sorry for it. We are determined to secure a party platform, but with a coalition of other parties. There are 68 political parties in this country, minus the PDP and the APC. The people I love to call Association of Past Criminals, and the people deceiving people, the PDP. I'm sorry about those of you who are members of those parties here, but you know, we like to make fun of them too, to lighten up our days. So a political platform is not just one party, it's going to be several political parties, and it will happen. We are close to forming a large coalition of political parties to challenge the behemoth that is out there. So please calm down. Start preparing your story for February 15. Sowore wins presidency.
In the sense that we have many presidents and many aspirants that have done what you just did today, giving us hope. But the major problem there is the funding.
Yes.
The fact the present president was being funded by some dubious politicians, and today he's playing according to the team they are playing.
Yes.
So I want to know where your funding is coming out from. We really want to know where you're coming out from. Who are the people funding you?
Thank you very much.
And how do you get your money?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I thank you very much. That's a very important question. And I will say directly to you, I am not being funded by anybody. Do you know the good news I have for you? We are not doing politics of rice or bread or Ankara. And because of that, it has become very, very cheap for me to do what I'm doing today. I've been in Nigeria for 14 days. Everybody please listen to me. 14 days. I have not spent up to $20,000. People are paying for me to go to places. They are renting buses, they are renting hall for me. But most importantly, I'm also raising funds online through GoFundMe. It's very transparent. You can donate to me if you have a dollarized account. And so far, we have also raised, by today it will be $20,000 that we have raised. Our target is to raise $2 million. So it's the most transparent. If you don't know, I will tell you again, I have been in the business of offending godfathers and godmothers in this country. I don't want their money. I will never taste or touch their blood money. If it will be required that Nigerian students will contribute 1 naira, by the time we get, or 10 naira, by the time we get 1 million youths, don't you know how much that will be? You know, everything is not money. If money could buy the presidency, Jonathan would have won in 2015. It is sheer will and determination that will take us to this level that we are going. Those of you who are student union leaders, You know how we operate. When you are popular on campus, even if the governor of the state is sponsoring a candidate against you, the candidate will lose.
Yes, sir.
So let all the godfathers and godmothers and all the cabals put their money together. We will defeat them with our little money in 2019. I guarantee you. Thank you very much. And I promise you that by the time we come back here next year, and by the time we are sworn into office, it will be a priority to develop the infrastructure of the southeastern part of Nigeria. And I'm not saying it for the sake of appealing to any sentiments. We should be having by now a third Niger bridge with a fast train going back and forth. Yes. I will never be a president that will be commissioning models of the bridges on the wall or photographs of what it will be in the future, or circulating on Facebook, Twitter, bridges that exist in China, and you claim that the second Niger bridge under construction. We will do it with ourselves and ensure that what you love to do most in the Southeast, which is travel from wherever you want to go, anywhere you want to go, is made possible in your own time, in our own time. The Nigerian government lacks the capacity and the will to defeat the insurgents. You heard a BBC report. This was not on Sahara Reporters. It was BBC. When Shekau was almost captured about 2 months ago, they were about to kill him. A general got a call from Abuja to stand down his forces. The generals don't want insurgency to end because that is where they are making their money from, either under Jonathan or under Buhari. Then another person asked me about the question of corruption. How am I going to fight corruption? What have I done in the last 12 years? I'm not bragging. I'm one single individual that has fought corruption through a platform known as Sahara Reporters in the last 12 years. There's nobody I have not fought across Nigeria. I've exposed them. I know where they hide their money. If I can do that and stand in their face and put my finger in their eyes and their noses and say to them, you are corrupt, you are a thief. I name corrupt people in this country. They sue me. I do not stop. If I become the commander-in-chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria come 2019, all corrupt persons are in trouble. I can guarantee you. Thank you.
My presence here was invited to grace this occasion, and I'm happy I'm still a vibrant young man. This is the kind of people we need to take over this time. The youth, 1 naira and 2 naira, I think this time around, come 2019, will not disturb you people. Can it disturb you people?
No.
Well, what we are saying as an experience, once Cornetto and Jonathan in those days in Imo State. So my advice is most sincerely passing youth in Imo State. Please take up your arms and vote accordingly. Thank you and God bless you.